You're listening to Oilersnation Radio, presented by the Nation Network.
What's this one, Jared? This is a new band, a local band?
This is Ray Gun Cowboys, local band, good buddies of mine. This song's called Storms of Brewin'.
It's got a Johnny Cash vibe to it.
I was just going to say.
Very. And they're actually going on tour on the East Coast right away. So if you live out there, look out for the Ray Gun Cowboys.
Ray Gun Cowboys. Edmonton's own.
Just before we started recording, you asked if Johnny Cash is still alive.
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash.
Right there.
That's him.
There he is.
There he is.
Shout to
Reincarnated.
Shout out to Jared for being the music guy.
Hey.
Thanks,
Hanging
Jared.
out with Jim Morrison and Tupac.
All of them.
You knew Tupac?
The whole band.
Holy smokes.
While we're talking music, I want to go ahead and give a very solemn tribute to our friend Wideneck.
Locked up.
He just couldn't get it. He just couldn't pull it together.
It's a shame. Hashtag free Wideneck.
Free Wideneck. If you listen to Real Life Podcast that comes out on Fridays, you will know my love of
Mondays.
Wideneck. Or Mondays. Today's Friday. You will know my love of Wideneck as well as Longneck, as well as Sherwood Ford the Giant. I love the boys at Sherwood Ford the Giant. Follow them on Twitter at Sherwood Ford, on Insta at Sherwood Ford _ the Giant. You guys were out there a couple of days ago.
Yeah, we went out
Little shenanigans.
film some content, produce some content, all sorts of video content. We created some dog content.
I was going to say, do you get to see Gus?
We saw Gus.
How's Gus doing?
Jared got to meet Gus for the first time. Evan
Great.
got to meet Gus for the first time. And Coom got to meet Gus for the first time. It was great. It was a great day.
Was there any chirping of Gus because of his losing to Frank and Frank's picks?
No, you know what? Gus's spirits seem pretty high. It's like he hasn't given up. Like, he still cares about the competition, but he's just not letting it bring him down.
That's because Gus is a champion. He's got an attitude of champions.
What happens to the loser in that matchup?
What happens to the loser? They get tummy rubs.
Yeah.
And they get to play together. Maybe a couple of treats.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I don't know what
Little
you're getting
play
at,
date.
Dan. I feel like you're getting dark.
No, I just
Talking about
asked
two
a
good
question.
boys. We got two good boys here. They're trying their best, Dan. Chris, I want to ask you something.
Okay.
Last week you were not here. Last week you were away doing business type things while we talked to one Geroges Laraque.
Yeah.
Have you listened to the interview?
Oh, yeah. I listened to it on as soon as it came out.
As a genuine ON radio enthusiast, I'm curious what your thoughts were on that podcast.
It was a very well done episode. So
Thank you.
shout out to you guys. I think you guys all crushed it in terms
Absolutely.
of the questions you came up with, letting George speak his mind, and shout out to George for just dropping like bombs of knowledge on us, and it was cool for me to be in the planning sessions of that podcast. I remember Dan asking like, well, should we ask him about his hat trick? Like, is he going to remember that? So then when the question actually came up on the episode and George just like spit out specific details of something that happened almost 20 years ago, like, it's nuts. It was crazy. I remember I was listening to it when I was driving down the road, and partly like I was really focused, listening intently because of George's accent and like just trying to like listen to everything. But also I was just like so drawn in by the stuff he was talking about, and just his current love for the Oilers, and just hearing him talk so passionately about the team. I could have gotten a car accident. Imagine me getting in a car accident, just like zoning into the podcast, and then I'll have to blame George Laraque for
Sorry,
it.
officer. I was listening to a podcast that I'm usually on.
Yeah.
But
It's
Yeah.
very distracting.
No, it was a really good episode. And as far as like, I think we set the bar so high for guests. I know we're bringing in some more guests in the future, which I'm really excited about. But I mean, kicking it off with George is like a huge win for us and Oiler fans.
Was there anything you felt like we didn't touch on?
Man, you could, like you guys said, you could have talked for days.
Yeah, we
with
could have kept
George.
it
Like,
there for
there's
100,
so much
like-
you could have talked on. But I mean, the stuff you did discuss, it was current, and it was great because we were on our bye week. So just the general situation and position that the Oilers franchise is in like front of mind for a lot of Oiler fans right now. And George hit the nail on the head with everything he said about it.
Dan, you had a week to decompress. Thoughts a week out from the George Laraque interview?
yeah, it was super cool. He there was nothing that we asked him that he shied away from. He was just open and upfront about everything. It was huge for us at Hockey Fights. He had a couple good sound bites there about the future of fighting in general, and then also about former players that have been speaking out against head injuries and all that kind of jive. So it was interesting to hear a professional fighter talk about
looking
stuff.
at a couple of comments that came in about that podcast. Malignant Manny says Laraque for GM. Can't disagree with that. He had great ideas. Hockey Fights, Dan, you were getting a lot of play out of this one because there was some scraps in there that when you dig into his catalog and you see how tough this dude was, it was just, why would anybody want to fight him? I know he talked about the Rob Ray fight.
Yeah.
I thought that Brownlee actually had a good comment, and I can't find it right now, but to paraphrase, it was like, it wasn't really much of a fight. How many punches did Rob Ray actually throw there? And then just that turned into definitely one of the best fighters of all time, says Richard. Jesus, Laraque was a badass, says Greg. No one rocks quite like Georges Laraque, says Mac. So he was getting a lot of love here. A lot of love.
Yeah, it was cool to see. And with that Rob Ray fight, because he had said that was his favorite call of one of his fights of all time, was that I wasn't even aware of the story, but somebody brought it to my attention that before that game, Rob Ray was asked, "Are you going to fight Georges Laraque?" And Ray was kind of dismissive about it. He said, why would that guy want to fight me? And boy, howdy, did he ever regret those words. I know, I'm sure George heard that. And, as he said last week, he didn't enjoy fighting as much as it appeared to, because he was so good at it, but he was always a person that strived to be the best at whatever he was doing.
One of my favorite comments that came in about the Georges Laraque interview was from Derek, at Derek Rebel. Rebel with 2 L's? Rebel? Rebel without a cause. Right?
Sure.
When I was in Pee Wee, Laraque joined my team for a practice. He participated in all the drills, and he made us try to push him out of the crease. After, he signed personalized posters and chatted with everyone. Totally went above and beyond and made us all feel so special. What a beauty. Surprise, Dan?
I mean, no, like everything, like he's still a fan favorite to this day. And I mean, every comment that we've heard about the podcast since then just proves that here in Edmonton. But man, that story that he told us about the little guy, that was just gut wrenching, and it just keeps resonating with me, because the guy, with that story from the Rebel there, he took the honor of being a fan favorite very seriously, and still does to this day, and knows the power that he has and the power that he can bring to somebody else. I know he said he's not God when he gave that little guy, an extra week of fight and life.
To get that full story, you're definitely going to want to go back and listen just for that story alone.
Yeah, it's towards the end.
I have an idea. What if Keith Gretzky signs a 42-year-old Georges Laraque, where he needs character? We already established this. He needs character. What if we signed a 42-year-old Georges Laraque, $1 million, 1 year, to the Oilers room? He can dress every few games. I don't care. Sit in the press box, but just fire the boys up in the room. Thoughts?
Great idea.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I think the people would love it.
Well, and he's one of those
people would love it.
And he's one of those guys, like they did that with Semenko towards the end of his life, where they brought him in with the organization. And that's like, those are the guys that are a part of the old boys club, but they're not, because they're guys that get it. They're the guys that care about the fans, and they interact with the fans, and they enjoy talking to the fans. It's just, it's too bad that guys like Laraque aren't in the organization. I mean, I know he's doing 1,000 things out in Montreal, running a radio show and running his vegan sandwich shop and just everything. He's got his energy drink, all that kind of stuff.
Kombucha.
Yeah, exactly.
Love the kombucha.
Yeah.
William
Ride says, whoa, this is scary shit. When George was not kicking ass, he was putting up points. I don't think a lot of people, I think you have to go back and kind of actively look and realize that George actually had some hands, and he could actually put up some points. Again, he had 153 points in 695 games. That is rock solid for a guy who's supposed to be a fighter. Right?
Rock solid.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Rock solid, Jared says.
That's why Jared's here. That's why I got him here.
That's why Jared's here. Cam's gone. Cam's in New York. Cam likes to gallivant, and that's what he's doing with his missus. So Jared's in. Jared's in the Coom chair.
And Rick is recovering.
Is that what he said?
From a Mexican
Nah, he's doing pint stuff today.
He was up early at the gym.
Yeah, he gets in. I'm just following
6:30.
His Snapchat story. Arrives late after like a several hour delay coming back from Mexico into a snowstorm. Shout to Edmonton, and then hits the gym first thing in the morning. Good for him.
Are those the worst things to come back to? Like from a nice vacation like that?
Coming back from
Oh, yeah.
Mexico into a snowstorm is like, that's
That's
tough.
it. It brings me back nightmares from when I came back from Mexico in December, right into a snowstorm. We
Yeah.
also got delayed.
So I think what we're learning here is if you're involved in Oilers Nation, don't go to Mexico. The rest of us get punished for it.
Exactly that.
That's what I'm thinking. All right. So boys, we've had 10 days off now. 10 days away from our beloved Oilers. Fired Chiarelli. Lost to Detroit. Chiarelli gone. Keith Gretzky stepped in as interim. Who knows what that's going to look like? The trade deadline approaching. That is February 25th, I think, off the top of my head, if I'm remembering correctly. Are you guys excited that we're back in action tomorrow? Philly.
Yes, I am. It's been a nice break. I know for you, Bag Milk, not having to eat the dirt fruit that you eat, and for Chris to...
Do you know what? You just talking about fucking beets. I have to go get some today.
Ugh.
I don't have any. And it was nice not just looking in my pantry and just not even seeing them there.
You purged them. You
There's-
had a bunch of cans. You just got rid of them.
2 games this weekend. Philly tomorrow, Montreal on Sunday. What are you guys thinking about for the weekend? Because I thought that the Oilers playing tomorrow, they would be playing against another bye week team. However,
Wrong.
Philly has been playing since Monday, and they are absolutely rolling right now. They are on a 6-game win streak. I'm just knocking out the GDB for tomorrow. Are you guys concerned about a rested/rusty Oilers team going up against a team that's absolutely rolling right now like Philly is?
Yep. If there's ever like a quote scheduled loss unquote, I think Saturday is the day.
I think that Connor is fired up
Agreed.
from his All-Star game conversations. He's got something to prove. He knows that this team is a slow starter traditionally. The team does respond well to big shakeups.
Mm-hmm.
The Ken Hitchcock winning streak that we had. The problem is that Carter Hart on the other side of the ice with Philly is just absolutely on fire right now. He's the reason that team is rolling like they are. Their goaltending is just lights out. So Connor is going to score 3 goals tomorrow.
3 goals.
He might
All
have
right.
to. I like the idea, and I agree that Connor's on a mission. There's no way he's not. He can't look at the way things are right now and be happy about it. Not to mention, Chris, second half of the season, this back 9 tends to be when Connor really heats
Totally.
up.
Oh yeah.
If you remember last year, he was about 15 points or so behind Nikita Kucherov for the league lead in points, and all of a sudden he just ripped past him.
Crushed him.
Ripped past him.
That was after he came off that death flu, and then he finally just rolled into the
Yeah, no death flu this year. He's got a fresh haircut.
second fresh haircut.
Fresh haircut.
Just the
That
strangest
was-
thing ever, but
That was the
Hey.
story we broke via Oilers Nation Twitter that he was getting a haircut. Big props to all of us
If
for that inside info.
if I got 10 mil on my signing bonus, I would also get 2 haircuts very frequently.
I like that he did an interview with Elliot Friedman where he talked about the haircut. He's like, yeah, they cut it at an awkward length. What's an awkward length? I don't know.
No, I get it. Like, cause the first haircut was a little bit longer. So like he could do the slick back and it just lays. But if it's a tad bit too short, Jared, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
If it's a tad bit too short, it doesn't lay, like it's not heavy enough to lay down.
Yeah.
So then it like the front sticks
Yeah.
up a little bit.
Yeah, you get a little
So then you just, it's ruined. So you just got to cut it even more and just do the little spiky thing.
Man,
Since you guys can't see this, Chris, while he was explaining that whole thing, was ruffling his own beautiful locks and like making sure that his hair was
Yeah.
laying flat down.
Yeah.
So
man, like, how about being that hairdresser? So excited, Connor McDavid. You're gonna stylize his hair. He's going to the All-Star break. He's
Stylize.
getting rid of the McFlow, and you're the next person to do it. And then all of a sudden he gets a second haircut.
Did he go
And then
back to the same?
Well, that's
Probably.
the question.
I
Does he
don't
go
know.
back to the same person, just like, we need to do something
That
here? Or
is-
does he do an about
and
face?
now it's going to be awkward the next time
That
it
is
goes
a
back.
tough conversation.
Oh, man.
Because
It's a tough
usually
feeling.
if you get a bad haircut, you can go back to the same hairdresser and be like, "Hey,
Yeah,
I need a redo on this thing." You don't have to pay for it.
true.
You think Connor's like he's going back to the same person? He's like, "Okay, free haircut."
I feel like Connor
Artsy.
is the kind of person that would feel bad about going back to that hairdresser and say, no, it's fine. I got this. I just think he's a
I agree.
good Canadian boy, and he wouldn't want to waste anybody's time, you know?
Imagine being the hairdresser that loses Connor McDavid as a client for your company.
Well, okay, so let's follow that follow that down a rabbit hole for a second. Let's pretend that he went to 2 hairdressers here. The first one's like, oh man, the All-Star weekend's coming up. This is one of the biggest marketing weekends this league has to offer, and Connor is always front and center. I got to make sure this guy looks sharp. Cuts the hair. A few days later, sees him actually in San Jose. Wait a minute.
That's not my
That's
haircut.
not the
That's
haircut
not
I
my
gave him. That's not what I gave him. Oh shit, he got a second haircut. Just imagine the feelings this person is thinking, Chris.
I bet you Connor did some damage control via text, though. I bet you he was like, listen, I'm going to be I'm going to be asked about it because I'm Connor McDavid. And I just want to let you know that it's not you, it's me. And
I'm just a picky haircut guy.
And I will come back. I will be back the next time the McFlow gets unbridled.
Or he made like a really like elaborate story, like, I fell down and I accidentally hit some scissors in my hair in the front and I cut a chunk out and I need to go back and
I
fix
got some
it.
bubble gum in my hair.
Yeah, no,
the
the
bubblegum
easy
line
one
is
is the
gonna
bubble
be,
gum. Yeah.
I was just blowing a rocket bubble, like just one of the big, massive one, and it blew up in my hair. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways.
This haircut discussion, as always, brought to you by our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant. They love style just like they love getting you in a brand new Ford.
Oh, nicely
Whoa.
done.
Hey.
Nicely done.
How do you
sir.
do it? How do you do it?
Thank you very much. Go follow them on Twitter at Sherwood Ford and on Instagram at Sherwood Ford _ the Giant. Good news. After the All-Star break, maybe not, could be, Oscar Klefbom is traveling with the team. Dan, you wrote about it this morning at Oilers Nation. What is going on with Oscar Klefbom?
Wow. Let me tell you, I was all over the interwebs last night getting all kinds of mixed information. So Spectre put out a video shortly after practice yesterday that Klefbom had taken a chop to the hand and had to talk to the trainer. And then at about 10 o'clock last night, he wrote an article that said that he has re-injured the hand and he will be out longer than expected. Bad news. Terrible news. We were all pretty devastated about it. Then the Oilers, just before midnight, put out a tweet that says that Klefbom will be joining the team, likely to play on Saturday.
So what I think happened is everybody saw, like there were a bunch of tweets from media guys saying that Klefbom left the ice and was getting treated by the trainer. And he was like, he has the altered glove. His middle finger and ring finger, I think, are obviously taped together. So he has a weird looking glove. I think he was getting it fixed up. And then they discussed the injury after the practice. Klefbom said that he did knock it, like somebody accidentally hacked it. And then both him and Ken Hitchcock commented and said that like he should be good to go. Like it's fine, like not to worry about it. So I think this was just Mark Spector being Mark Spector.
Or are the Oilers being secretive? Are they trying to hide things from us?
And therein lies the issue, because this morning, as I had written the article last night, and Bag Milk helped me out with the update to the article, Tom Gazzola came out and said that Klefbom had been kind of sitting back on drills, I think is how he described it. He's not paired up with his usual guy, Larson, and that Sekera was taking some of his reps in practice. So there's a lot of information flying back and forth.
Yeah.
I don't know who to believe.
The fact, like, it scares me that the fact that just taking a stick to the hands, I don't know, like, we don't know the details, but the fact that he took a little stick to the hands and now he might have a setback, like, how ready was he to begin with?
Well, for an organization that traditionally lets its people percolate and really recover before we rush them back.
Well, and you're a defenseman. Part of it is slap shots.
Yeah.
And slap shots are hard with
Yep.
broken fingers. So, like Chris said, my concern is that if a tap to the hand, and I can't, like, if it's a battle drill or some kind of in-game situation, I can't imagine he got hit that hard in the hand at practice. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I would be way more nervous if that's what happened at a practice than what actually happens in a game.
Oh, it's going to be
where
10
guys
times
like
worse.
Gritty.
hacking away for trying to create space for themselves, hacking away just because you can.
I would be afraid
I'd
that
be
Gritty
concerned.
might get out there and do something to him.
Yeah, that's actually, I just realized that we're going to get to see Gritty again. Cool.
Ooh.
There you
Jared.
go.
So now this leads me to a question. Are we going to see Andre Sekera in the lineup before we see Oscar Klefbom? That would be a surprise.
All right, well, let's jump into that.
So Dustin Nielsen dropped a hint in yesterday's Inside the Nation on our Facebook Live video.
Go ahead.
He didn't say his source for this, but he has an inkling that Andre Sekera doesn't even need to go down to Bakersfield for a conditioning stint, and that we might see him just straight into the lineup, that things are going way better than expected.
I would be very concerned about that. He is a gentleman in his early to mid 30s. He is coming off 2 very severe injuries in the past calendar year. I don't know that practicing will get him anywhere close to what needs to be at NHL game level.
Yeah.
So while I actually, you know what? I always believe Dusty Stores is because they're rock solid. Is that a good idea? Like, would they really be better off putting Andre Sekera in, who's had no game experience this season, right into the lineup over sending him back and just slow playing this? I can't imagine that that's a better idea.
And we all saw how Andre Sekera played when he returned last year. Like,
exactly.
He's patient with the puck, but I mean, his foot speed, his everything. Like, the last time he played at 100% in the NHL, the game has changed so much since then. That was over a year ago.
I, for one, am shocked that you guys are questioning the thought process of an organization that has brought back such defensemen from injury as Lubomir Wisnowski, Ryan Whitney, Sheldon Surrey, Andre Sekera, the first time. Well, you know, Klefbom. Sorry, of course, Klefbom's shoulder injury. This has never been an issue before of rushing guys back. I just don't understand where you guys are coming from.
I just don't see how this helps. Like, I know there's pressure to make the playoffs. I know that what they need to do, they're 3 points out of a wild card spot. They need wins. But like, if a guy can't keep up,
100%.
and if he's going to be better for the team, if they send him down for a 3-game weekend in Bakersfield, then why wouldn't you do that?
100%.
Yeah, I can wrap my head around bringing Klefbom back a little earlier than expected, just because like an 80% Oscar Klefbom can still take minutes off of other guys, but bringing back an 80% Andre Sekera, who is already probably like 60% of his overall skill.
Well, and to further that point, Klefbom has been able to skate. He's got broken fingers.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with his mobility.
Sure.
Sekera had an ACL tear and an Achilles tear. Like, man, he's got robot legs.
And on top of all that, too, with Sekera, when we take him back, or when we bring him back, he comes off the long-term injured reserve, and then we have to make a roster move because of all the trades that Peter Chiarelli left us with.
Sekera coming back is arguably going to do more harm to the organization than good.
It goes without even looking at the cap implications. I have no idea what the Oilers are going to do. If I was to guess, let's just take a quick guess right now. Little improv game. Sekera's going to come back. How do they clear the cap space? My first thought is a Talbot trade.
Yeah.
Talbot trade, like, I can tell based on what I'm seeing, like, I know Frank Saravelli tweeted something yesterday saying that the Oilers had a good conversation with Cam Talbot and they are open to him signing an extension, which would be fine, I guess. But they also need cap space, so there lies the problem. Another problem is who's the backup if they do trade him. I mean, there's a whole list of issues here. How are they going to create cap space, Dan?
Well, you got to think that the log jam of defensemen has to be broken up. So you've got probably Matt Benning or Brandon Manning being either moved or more likely waived and then sent down to the AHL. So you bury that contract. And then it's, I mean, you're probably ending up having to, if you really need to get rid of another guy via trade, you're going to have to package them with picks. You're going to have to entice another team to take on your cap issues with your own picks to try to build that.
Matt Benning makes sense, I think. I think you're right. Zach Cassian also would be kind of an option. I could see them moving to try and create cap space, whether you like that idea or not.
Petrovic's also, he's getting paid 1.9 and he's a UFA next year. Could you think they would move him out?
I mean, I could see them doing it because it's the Edmonton Oilers. Does make sense because they just traded assets to acquire him. But
I know, but like,
trade him back to Florida for the assets that you sent there.
Honestly,
Chris Weidman.
Peter Chiarelli's going to haunt us for the next 5 years, and I'm going to hate every minute of it. But it's nice. It's nice we're having constructive, productive conversations about what the next steps are to fix Chiarelli's mess. We're not
hands. It's all good.
Yeah, we're not sitting here complaining about Chiarelli screwing up our team right now. We're in the afterthought of that. just seeing how we can take the next step forward.
And now we just have to move through all the fuck ups that he's done in the last 4 years.
Unfortunately, exactly.
Of which there are a pile, Dan.
We'll be sitting back and we'll be there's going to be some frustrating moves that are going to be made, and there's going to be some painful moves that have to be made in the next year plus.
How are they going to add skill to a lineup that's capped out? How are they going to clear out those dead roster spaces to make it happen? It's just like, it's going to be super interesting to watch. Even just taking myself out of being an Oilers fan and trying to look at it as from like a 10,000 foot level. It's going to be interesting to watch. Chaos, man. If you're here for the chaos, embrace it.
Some new GM is going to become either super famous or become another Peter Chiarelli.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, and that was the thing that bothered me the most, is that Peter Chiarelli had the chance to come into Edmonton and be a god.
He really did.
To be a
He just
god.
had to lob one.
He just had to keep her afloat, man. Keep her between the beacons. Don't crash into the rocks and you're fine.
So I think like it's safe to say his mistake was trying too hard. Eh?
Well, that's what I say. Like, or that's what I think I said it last week or the week before, that at least he did try, but he didn't know what he was doing. Like, he was giving it a shot, but you know, like, you could have crowdsourced the trades on Oilers Nation's poll on the side of the board there and probably got a better result out of things. So it's just, yes, he was trying, but man, was he bad.
It felt like a gambling addict.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's like, this is the one. I'm going to win. And he kept like
the analogy,
putting his money in the machine, and it just wouldn't win. And it's just
the analogy I used on Real Life on Monday was that he was Chevy Chase in Vegas Vacation.
Yeah,
I can get it back. I can get it back. I can get it back.
I can win.
Just one more time. Just give me a spin.
Statistically, he should have. like at least at some point you should win a trade here or there. Like, Ryan Strome for Ryan Spooner is so bad. It's so bad. But it should have been like something where you could have, recouped the loss.
But there were what makes it confusing is that there were good trades. There were. And then he just completely blew them up with bad ones. Like, the Cam Talbot trade was great.
Yep.
The Pat Maroon trade was great.
Yep.
Getting Cassian even for Scrivens, great. But man, the bad ones wiped out everything in their path. Like, they were just bulldozing through Oilersville, knocking down buildings left and right, and left a very shaky situation, Chris.
When they're bad, they're bad. It's rough.
On the bright side,
right, Dan?
That is
write that down.
Hella good insight right there.
That's a t-shirt.
It is a
we're
t-shirt.
going to throw that on a t-shirt. Speaking of t-shirts, go get your Blame the Water t-shirts right now at nationgear.ca. Right, Chris?
Still available.
Hell yeah.
Get them.
If we're going to look at the positive side, the Oilers did make a smart move.
Yeah, they
yesterday.
did. Yes, they did.
Bob Nicholson in his press conference said that they want to get to a situation where they are leaving prospects in the AHL until they are actually ready. Used overripe, which, as we learned on Real Life on Monday, is a poor choice of words. Go back and listen to that one. Wanye runs you through it. Now, instead of bringing back Kaylor Yamamoto to play, 5, 6, 7 minutes a night, they brought up Brad Malone, a 29-year-old vet. He's an in-betweener. He's the guy who's got a little bit of NHL experience. He can chip in on the fourth line. If he doesn't play, it doesn't matter. Dan, I know you're excited.
He's an energy guy. He's a guy that comes into this lineup and gives it his all every time. Does it turn into goals? No. Does it turn into assists? No. But you know what? He's a guy that comes out there and shows these guys exactly what it takes to be successful in this league. And I think that that's something that this team woefully lacks. And there's just a lot of passengers on this team, and they're all just looking at Connor McDavid driving the bus, hoping that he takes them to the right destination.
More importantly, this is a guy that fills a role that they need. They're looking for a bottom six player that can chip in or maybe not even play.
Yep.
Having Kaylor Yamamoto or even Jesse Puljujarvi, why he's still here is another question, but having Kaylor Yamamoto in that spot rather than playing 20 plus minutes a night in Bakersfield doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, this just seems like an easy decision that should have been made a long time ago, but at least we can say the very first transaction / move in the post-Pietrelli era is a good one.
Second, actually, because they signed Joel Persson to a 1-year extension on Thursday or something like that. Joel Persson.
Yeah, okay.
And actually, you know what? The Joel Persson one is interesting too, because you would think that he's coming to North America next year.
Yeah.
They signed him, loaned him to Vaxo Lakers of the Swedish Elite League. He played there. He's doing very well. He's second in team scoring behind only Roman Horak. Roman Horak is a name that Oilers fans will know. Got him from Calgary, never played a game. However, Joel Persson is second in team scoring there. So you would think that they would want him kind of coming over next year. That kind of furthers your idea about moving maybe Benning out. Is that the Benning spot? They have to create something for Bouchard. Is it going to be Bouchard kind of going up for that third line role against Persson? If they slow play, Bob Nicholson told us they would. Is he lying, Chris? Joel?
Well, I mean, and he's going to replace one of our depth defensemen. And I mean, at this point, just throw him in there, see what happens.
I want to thank our friends at Get Sauced for helping us out with this here podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I have sad news, Chris. I had this curry sauce from Get Sauced in my fridge. It was great with like nuggies.
Mm-hmm.
Do a little dipping.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic, but I'm out. I got to go to my local shop and buy myself some more Get Sauced.
Damn.
But first, what I'm going to do, Chris, is I'm going to go to getsauce.com and I'm going to shop around a little bit.
Yeah, do it.
I might even give him a call. I might say, hey, Siri, give a call to 780-462-2418. And she'll be like, all right, bro. I'm going to call Sauce. I'm going to call the Sauce Man.
I'm
That's
a
what we're
little
gonna
sad
do.
that your Siri didn't pick that up.
I was actually worried about that Siri coming to pick it up.
Your Siri's a lot cooler than mine.
Yeah, Siri, my Siri's got no chill. Or she's too chilled, actually. Anytime I need her,
Way
she's
too
not
chilled.
around. Get Sauced. Go talk to them. Sales at getsauce.com. Ask questions. They're fine people. Go see them at 9620 58th Avenue.
Yeah, they have
Beautiful Edmonton, Alberta.
They look at all their products online and then just give them a call and go pick one up from their warehouse.
You should. Or
Easy.
Or what you can do is you can watch Inside the Nation on Mondays. And we do a Get Sauced giveaway. Watch Dusty, learn a little something. Maybe get some fresh sauce in your fridge.
Check out his brand new widget, his brand new screen
Yeah,
widgets.
upgrades.
Dusty. Yeah, he's putting in the work. I liked it.
Upgrades. Yeah, Dusty asked for some logos. He's just like, I'm building a little something.
Looks
I
good.
looked at it. I don't know who Kasakanen is.
Oh, yeah, he commented on that.
Did he?
Yeah. Just
He's a little proofread.
yep.
Yeah, a little proofread. Hey, but you
Hurry
know
up
what?
the graphics. CNN screws up every once in a while too.
Hey, you know what? This is the Nation, man. We don't care.
No.
We don't care. Boys, I want to talk about some line combinations. We're being an Oilers fan, you're used to the blender coming out and the spins going around and seeing what happens. However, Bob Stauffer tweeted some line combos yesterday and you're just like, whoo boy. All right, buckle up. So on the first line, are you ready, Dan?
I sure am.
Lucic, McDavid, Ratty. Okay. Reader, Draisaitl, Chiasson.
Wait,
All right.
what?
All right, that one makes sense a little bit, I guess.
Number two? That's number two.
That's line 2. Kara, Nuge, Cassian, line 3. I would rather flip Puljujarvi with Cassian, but that's okay. I don't mind. I don't mind that one. Cave, Brodziak, Puljujarvi on the 4th line. Malone, flight delayed, so he won't be in the lineup probably for tomorrow.
He was in practice this morning.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay,
he
so
arrived this morning.
these could change again.
Yep.
These could change again.
But once
as
again,
they
yeah.
are right now, what are your thoughts on the forward pair so far?
That is
It's one of those things where you're like, you pump yourself up all bye week and you're like, fuck yeah, like
listen to
Oilers
Geroges
are
Laraque
back.
talk about how
Yeah.
great this is going to be.
2 games on the weekend, like fired Pierre Trelli. We're gonna like be fired up after this. We're gonna go on a big winning streak, and then they tweet out these line combinations, and you get dragged right back down to reality, and you're like, man, this team.
Like the wingers on this, like these line combos and the wingers they have here.
I still have hope for McRatty to return. Ratty to return to his preseason self. I think it's there. We just gotta find it.
McRatty will prop up Lucic, who is riding shotgun up there.
Well, he's also one of the hottest players on this team.
True.
He's had one of the greatest Januaries of all time in Oilers history.
We're going to get to that.
So I think that there's something to be said for him earning that spot finally.
Well, yeah, but I think Lucic and McDavid just don't go together.
Yeah, but
If Lucic
anybody can go with McDavid if they're in the right spot.
Like
That's
orange
the thing.
peels and tacos, Chris.
And I think
orange peels?
that if you put the orange peel in there
They don't go together.
Okay.
and you just let the taco be the hero,
All right.
I think that there's a chance.
I'm just riffing here, Jared.
Yeah,
I'm just
that's
throwing
fair
things
enough.
out there. Sometimes they pick them up. Sometimes they throw it back.
Could be a dessert taco.
Could be. Nice little rind in there, Chris. You
Fruit
writing down.
taco.
Chris is taking the notes today because Cam's gone. He's writing down orange taco.
peels. Yeah.
Orange peel taco.
I got it.
I don't understand.
That threw you off.
I don't understand. I'm back on the lineups now. I don't understand Puljujarvi on the 4th line again. I just don't.
Well,
I don't. Does it
So-
follow me out here, Chris? Is it because he just doesn't want to go to Bakersfield, or are they being so stubborn that they think playing him 6 minutes or whatever he's going to get tomorrow on the fourth line is actually a good idea?
So this is what happened the last time Puljujarvi was put on the fourth line. He was put there because Connor McDavid was getting double shifted, so he would play with his top line teammates, and then he would play with Puljujarvi. And then Puljujarvi scored that goal, and then the next game, Puljujarvi was placed on the top line, and then the game after that, back on the fourth line. So like, can you track the trends on where Puljujarvi will play next game? Probably not. But I think what I'm getting at very slowly is that Puljujarvi is placed on the fourth line, so McDavid can double shift and play with him.
My hot take about these lineups is that they're not actually going to be something we see in a game.
Well, it's funny you say that because Dusty also tweeted I have a hard time believing these are going to be the
True
line combos at game time.
Just by seeing the second line, I think it doesn't make sense. I think there was just a lot of stuff going on, and that was coming out of the break, and so
I really like the idea of having the three centers split up. I think that's a great idea
100%.
actually, and I wish that Hitchcock would stick to it a little bit. However, the problem is they just don't have the wingers to make it work. They just don't. I mean, look at the first line, Lucic and Ratty. There's 7 goals combined between them. I'm just guessing here. It's off the top of my head.
but
Like
the
7
best January
max.
ever.
Yeah.
Reeder and Chason's carrying all the weight on that one.
Reader has no goals. But I mean,
Kara Cassian on the third line. Again, there's not a lot of offense there for Nuge, so Nuge has got some heavy lifting to do.
That's a lot of heavy hockey surrounding Nuge.
Brodziak, Cave, Puljujarvi. Puljujarvi is leading with 4 on that line. So we
Yeah.
do not get a lot of offense from our wingers, and I just don't know how well this 3 centers thing can work if that's what we've got from the wingers.
So you know what? I'll say this: if it's the beginning of the season and it's the Oilers' first regular season game on Saturday, and you showed me this lineup, I'd be like, all right, let's give it a shot. Like on paper, before this season, it looks good, but after what we've seen from the first 45-ish games, it's not a good lineup.
Well, to be fair, I never would have expected Reeder to be in February
True.
1st and not have a single goal.
So if we reset our brains, like
Reset.
we all need to after the All-Star break, after the bye week, and pretend it's a new last 1/3 of the season, and this is our lineup, and they play like they all supposed to play, then I'm happy with the lineups. Thoughts?
Silence.
What I'm trying to do is figure out how to kick the plug out from my own brain so that I can reset,
Yeah.
because I would love to reset.
Maybe Hitchcock reset.
Maybe, I hope so. Somebody need a reset.
I'm pretty sure Hitchcock just used like a word scrambler, like a word jumble app on his phone to pick these lineups. And then he's, after the first 2 shifts of the game tomorrow, he's going to realize that it was a bad decision.
Well,
Just jumble
that's
it.
what I'm waiting for as well. I actually, in my lineup section of tomorrow's GDB, I actually am writing about how Hitchcock will pull guys off lines right now if he doesn't think it works. He's not one of those guys that gives them 2 periods to figure it out or a game to figure it out. If this isn't working, it is not going to happen. Around the horn real quick, do you think these are the line combos at game time tomorrow? Dan?
Dear Gord, I hope not.
Chris?
Yes.
Maybe Malone's in, maybe Malone's out. We'll see. Tomorrow, Philly. They are riding a 6-game winning streak.
You forgot Jared when you went around the horn.
Jared, do you think these are going to be it?
No, I think it's a
Thanks.
tactic
That's good.
to mess with the Flyers.
Oh, okay. Mind games. I
So
like this.
yeah, you release this. They do their lineups to combat those lineups.
Well,
Game time switch.
No,
Flyers are all messed up.
Hitchcock's in your mind.
Yeah, they don't know what to do.
I think
We win the game.
I think technically the Oilers, since they're the visiting team, right before game time, they have to submit their starting lineups, and the Flyers can view it because they have home team advantage, and then they submit their
Is
starting
that
lineup.
Yeah, but they've been practicing all week for Lucic. Lucic, McDavid.
Okay,
and Ratty.
fair.
right?
Yeah, I'll give
How
them
do
that.
we prepare?
They've
for
got full-size
Lucic?
cutouts on the ice.
It's also important to note that
Passing around them.
Exactly.
Moving around.
Yeah,
How do we navigate this situation? These are tricky waters.
exactly.
There's a lot of man up here. I got to get around them.
Hashtag blame the water.
Hashtag blame the water.
Mhm.
Nationgear.ca. Go ahead.
Talbot is also starting tomorrow. Koskinen starting on Sunday.
Talbot tomorrow.
Talbot?
Thoughts? Do you like this? Do you like the split? Talbot first.
Honestly, they're both Montreal's won 5 of their last 6 Flyers are hot. We already talked about that. Like, I have no preference on which goalie I want to see on which day. I'm indifferent.
Just stop the puck, really.
Yeah, that's all we want
Stop
right now.
the puck.
And I don't think sure, Koskinen has the
Fresh contract.
fresh contract. I think he has the 1A position, Talbot the 1B, but I wouldn't consider one of them that much better than the other.
A little earlier, I mentioned a tweet from Frank Saravalli where he talked about the Oilers apparently had a good chat with. Sounds like the Oilers had a positive conversation with Cam Talbot, letting him know that they're leaving the door open to sign an extension. But Edmonton has imminent cap issues, activating Sekera as an example, and Talbot would seem to be one vehicle to clear cap space via trade. Do you think there is any chance that Cam Talbot is here on February 26th, which is the day after the trade deadline? Dan?
No, I think that they ruined it by signing Koskinen when they did.
Agreed.
And I think that you have that conversation. It's just to kind of mitigate for a good guy, a guy that seems to be well liked in the room. In Cam Talbot, you're just mitigating the disaster that you created by signing Koskinen when they did.
Yeah, it's like when your house burned down and then now they're throwing cups of water at it.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of.
They're just putting a blanket around him as he watches it burn.
And we all know the cap situation moving forward, how shitty it is. And I think we've all established that moving Talbot would be step number one, the easiest step to free up some cap space.
It's just so wild that like when Petrovic and Manning were both traded for that day, I think everybody around the table assumed that meant that Sekera wasn't coming back this season. And here we are, and we have just an absolute watershed moment where now we have to go out and move cap around because of trades that we made to stop a flood happening in the dam.
It didn't work.
That didn't work at all. And now it's a nightmare. I don't know. It's just...
Rick, who is normally here, sent in his notes about Saravalli's tweet. He said a couple of weeks ago on Oilersnation Radio, I said I would be fine with re-signing both Oilers goalies and keeping them around $8 million combined over the next 2 years. Rick is still holding out hope that we are going to have a plateaued goalie system, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I would prefer that than bringing up Montoya or whoever else.
Yeah, because who is the option?
Exactly.
Where did we hear that Montoya has vertigo? Where was that? Is that a thing?
Vertigo.
That was, yeah, we were talking about that, and then we started singing songs.
We got real distracted by some music.
But that was yesterday. I read somewhere that he has vertigo, and that's why he hasn't played more.
My
than
favorite
11
part
years.
is the vertigo that Chris did isn't even part of the U2 song.
Yeah.
They don't go, vertigo.
I don't know what song that is.
That was Jason Derulo. You know this. I played it for you guys.
Oh, right. You
okay,
go
I
Jason
get it.
Derulo, and I go U2.
Yeah.
I think vertigo.
Different strokes.
Different tastes.
Different strokes, different folks.
One at Coombe has sent in a question. Do you miss me?
No.
No. Tell Cam I'm sitting in a spot now, and I'm very happy.
You're not in a spot.
I'm sitting.
Yeah,
in
that's
a
not
spot.
his spot at all.
I'm in a spot.
No, I meant upstairs at the office.
Oh,
table.
you did immediately take that from
Yeah.
him.
You
Yeah.
did, yeah. So
He was
Cam,
barely out of the room, and I was sitting in it.
so if you don't know, we have a table upstairs where all of us kind of work around. It's like an open environment where we can throw ideas around. We can just talk. We can shoot the shit. We throw a football around. Sometimes it's good space. It's a
Like
creative
family dinner.
Yeah, it's a creative space where you can just kind of do your shit, maybe get distracted a little bit. We all kind of have our set spots, though. We all have our set positions of where we like to sit. I've been sitting in the same spot for about 2 years now. Chris just recently made a move. Dan made a move. Cam's been where he's been at for a long time. As soon as Cam goes on vacation, Chris slides right in.
Mm-hmm.
He just slid right in there.
Yeah, I think it's one of the better spots around the table, and I do what I can to take advantage of it.
Cam's gone. Maybe Cam won't even come back. Maybe you won't have a spot there because Chris stole it.
Yeah, I'm at a point in this office where I can't stay still in one spot, and I need to sit in all the spots. So I'd happily move back to my old new
Can't
spot.
have it.
No,
that
not
was a
that
three-way
old
trade,
spot.
and there is no revoking.
We had the office has been chaos the last 2 months. I tell you, we're all just switching chairs. And
We moved the table like 3 feet, and that rattled you to no end.
Bagmar, did I tell you that
No.
I commented the next day, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
No, it was like an hour later. You were like, "This is too
It was
much."
the next day, and Dan was like, "Oh yeah, we did that yesterday," and I was like, "Okay, never mind."
Because we did a 3-way trade. Evan now sits where I sat. I sit where Chris sat, and then Chris sits where Evan sat. NBA style trade.
So we had a little Rick Mexico update.
Yep.
We had a Coombe, New York. I wrote down Vegas, my bad. Coombe, New York update. Now let's get to Evan.
Oh, this is a sad update.
A couple of times we have mentioned Nation Gear on the show today. Blame the Water shirts are now up at nationgear.ca. Evan is our new intern. Evan is responsible for shipping Nation Gear and taking care of some of that stuff. And he had a box of stuff in his car the other day. Going to take it, decides to go home, get a little rest, relaxation. And
in an underground parking.
In an underground parking.
So Evan lives it's a nice building.
It's probably
downtown.
the richest building in the city, I think.
No, well,
Penthouse.
sure, yeah, yes. It's in
a
the penthouse
huge
suite.
condo.
Yeah.
It's in Oliver, and apparently they don't have good security systems in their parkade because multiple vehicles got broken into. One vehicle stolen, not Evan's. But it was actually Evan's girlfriend's vehicle.
Don't dox her. Don't do it to her.
I won't.
She doesn't want to be known. This might be the end.
Evan has a girlfriend. There, I said it.
What?
Yeah. Anyways, somebody smashed the window.
Driver's side window in.
Stole a bunch of stuff, including his backpack, including some like camera equipment.
Yeah.
His camera.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it was
brutal.
It's real bad news.
But most importantly, besides the camera, two Nation Gear envelopes were stolen.
His camera got stolen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's just his tripod.
Oh, it's his tripod.
It was just his tripod, but it's an
Fuck that
expensive tripod.
Yeah, we got a couple.
He's a student, and poor students getting stolen from just sucks.
Yep.
Yeah.
But so the Nation Gear was stolen.
So somebody's got some fresh tees out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you see a sketchy looking,
I think they
If
were
you see a
YEG
guy-
original shirts.
If you see a guy cruising with some fresh tees carrying a tripod,
Shake him down.
shake him down because we need to see the receipts on all that shit.
Send us a photo and tag us with @Sherwood Ford, and we'll try and track them down.
I'd also like to give a PSA to everyone listening. Please do not steal from anybody.
Yeah, don't be an asshole.
Yeah,
That's what Chris is trying to say. Is don't be an asshole.
Don't be a dick.
Don't steal people's stuff.
There's no way that anybody listening to this podcast is an evil person, though.
No, you're all great people.
We
You're
have
all
a very
great people
good audience.
with huge brains and wonderful personalities. I
Sorry.
want to go ahead and thank our friends again at Get Sauced, 9620 58th Avenue, right here in snowy Edmonton, Alberta. Boys, we got a little bit of snow today. Thankfully, you can go to Get Sauced, grab some of their death sauce. What was that one called?
Death
Reaper.
sauce.
The Reaper sauce.
Reaper.
The
Reaper sauce.
scorpion.
Hey,
You just breathe fire, blow all the snow away.
do you know info about the Oodle Noodle Get Sauce partnership?
Yeah.
Oodle Noodle and Get Sauced came together, two megalodons of Edmonton culture, and they merged to create one fiery box that's available February only.
Yeah.
Today
is
February
the first day.
Yep.
Go check out your local Oodle Noodle. Try one of them new fire boxes with our friends at Get Sauced. Get Sauced, they are everywhere, every time, everywhere. I said that twice.
Make that into a shirt.
That's their new slogan, I
Every
think.
time,
That's
everywhere.
2 shirts.
Everywhere.
Everywhere, every time, everywhere. Get Sauced. GetSauced.com. Look for that new slogan, probably coming up on their website at some point today.
The 5 Ds of dodgeball: dive, duck, dodge, and dive.
Dip.
Dip.
You guys want
Chew.
to dip? Want to snooze?
Oh, well, smack.
I was watching
man.
the Avicii documentary last night. Chris told me to
Oh,
watch it. They were
so
talking
good.
about going to buy, they had a guy running, going to get snooze.
I tried the Swedish snooze at the Nashville Predators game this year,
How was it?
and oh boy,
Just a little bump.
I put a little bit in. So I agreed. We had a bunch of Swedes visiting, and so the Oilers lost the first 2 games that they saw, and so I thought it was a pretty safe bet to tell them that if the Oilers won this game that against the Capitals, that I would do a little snooze if they did. And the Oilers did pull off the victory over the defending Stanley Cup champions. So I popped that boy in, and I started by one of the escalators, and by the time we made it to the Sky Lounge, I was on cloud 12.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know, snooze is essentially a little tea bag full of chewing tobacco.
Oh, thank you. I was going to
And
ask.
the Swedes love it. The Swedes.
You don't have to spit this stuff. And
I
oh boy,
thought it was is that snuff? The like sniffing
that's
tobacco?
the stuff you put in your nose. Yeah.
Ugh.
You take a little bump of that. And
No thanks.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Wow.
That was my first and last ever try of that.
Okay.
I remember playing slow
Stuff.
pitch with my buddies, and we all used to have like Red Man the loose leaf chewing tobacco. The loose leaf chewing tobacco.
Were you in the
man.
Sandlot? Were you in the
Yeah,
Sandlot?
like essentially, we all love the Sandlot, and we would just pack like a big wad of it into our mouth, into our cheek, along with chewing gum, like because we saw that in the MLB or
Oh
something.
man,
Sweet mercy, that's disgusting.
that's hard.
I think the lesson here that we've learned is chewing tobacco bad. Chewing tobacco bad in all varieties.
What a moral episode this has been. Don't steal. Don't chew. Just live your life.
We're here to entertain and also to educate.
Yeah.
Boise Oilers coming off their bye week. No, nothing for the last 10 days. However, there was an all-star game. There was an all-star skills competition.
Mm-hmm.
Connor McDavid, to a surprise to nobody, won fastest skater. Chris, surprised
Easily.
by that?
No.
And I don't even think he was going full bore either.
No.
No.
I'm just happy he didn't blow a wheel.
Yeah,
Slide
like there
on
was
the
that guy from
boards.
Dallas that blew a wheel and crashed into the corner.
That was,
At least it spiced up the contest a little bit. I was like, well, all right, the guy crashed. You don't see that often. They let him
Yeah.
do they let him have a mulligan though. So that was friendly.
That's good. Yeah, that was my biggest concern. Was Draisaitl and McDavid's health going into the tournament or the weekend? I mean, and they came out unscathed, and I'm happy.
I was actually really nervous about Draisaitl in the passing contest, not because I doubt him or anything like that, just by how badly some guys were fucking it up before him.
Oh yeah,
Especially the saucer passes over the whatever into the tiny little nets. I'm just like, man, this is an evil contest.
oh yeah.
And then Draisaitl just comes out. He's like, all right, are we doing this backhanded or what? And then just
Yeah,
fucking
hey.
flies through it.
Like the four of us should try duplicate that competition.
Done.
See how long it takes.
Man, we'd be there all weekend.
Totally.
The one across the ice, that's like an 80-foot saucer pass.
Yeah. It looks way too hard, but they do it. They do it fine.
Well, in Draisaitl, he was just like, some guys were really going into it, like trying to make sure to clear the barriers, especially on that cross ring one. And Draisaitl was just like, oh, here we go. He just fucking launches him over there, super tight, keeps it, and then lights out.
Leon does that in a game situation, so it's no problem when there's nobody around.
I think they should honestly mix it up and do a little bit of backhand in there because Leon's like, all right, let's do this.
Oh yeah.
Because backhand, we would have been there forever. Anyway, did you guys watch the game, like the actual tournament itself? I had to miss it. I wasn't home.
I did watch it.
How was
it? It was just one of those things. It just turned into a joke about the Oilers because there was two of them on the Pacific team, so of course that's the reason we lost. But it was one of those things where like
Did Connor and Leon do anything sweet?
Well, you come into it and you expect them to just dominate 3-on-3 because that's what they do. But they were trying to like set people up. They gave every goal I think the Pacific scored, which is not to say that they scored a lot because they didn't. I think they lost like 11-3.
Whoa.
Wow.
And the Oilers were in on 2 or 3 of the goals.
Of course.
So almost all of them.
Was
But at one point they put Gaudreau, Pettersson, and McDavid together because the CBC crew asked Bill Peters to do that. And so he's like, oh, fuck it. Let's do it. And so
What does he care?
so they went out and they scored on the first try because McDavid led old Johnny Cherry Pick with a nice pass. and he scored a goal for it. So, yeah, it was, I mean, whatever. They won it last year. That was the first time that the Central Division has beaten the Pacific Division in the 3-on-3 tournament. So it was good to see for them.
Bright side.
The Central Division was trying real hard.
The bright side, I guess, if there is one, is that they just got to chill out and watch the rest of the games happen.
yeah, I'm sure they weren't upset. I mean,
Put
they
your
get
feet up, have a snack.
they get $1
Drink.
million if they win, but I'm sure they weren't upset not having to finish the tournament.
Yeah, just have a chat, watch, look around.
Shout out to Marc-Andre Fleury, because if you look back at some of his saves that he was making during this thing, the Pacific Division was down like 8-3 at that point, and he's just selling out for goals, doing the full-on splits, and just a beauty. But yeah, it's too bad. Like the All-Star game will just never have the kind of pizzazz that it did when Owen Nolan was calling his shots, and
They
just
was
had a
cool because it
little
was
bit more
actually it was actually somewhat competitive in the 90s where the guys actually cared about winning.
Mm-hmm.
That was the difference. That just kind of disappeared somewhere along the line. I like they changed it up with the 3-on-3. I like the 3-on-3. It's
Yep.
fun. But
Yep.
like,
They should go to a draft system like they did with the NBA.
they had it.
they
for
used
a
to
while.
have that.
They
ruined it.
But
Yeah, and they should bring that back.
They made a huge deal out of Phil Kessel not getting selected, and then the next year they sugarcoated it for the last guy getting picked. It was like the guy that didn't get picked got a car,
And then Ovi was
What?
campaigning for
and
the
then
car.
Ovi campaigned for the car. And
So
it was just a whole.
They all
Oh,
just
man.
collectively
Long show.
ruined it for themselves.
Yep,
Ah,
that's
Boys-
why we can't have nice things.
since we are getting back to Oilers hockey tomorrow, at this time, tomorrow, 24 hours from now, the Oilers will be on the ice, probably in the second period. It's afternoon here on a Friday. We are going to revisit the Milan Lucic goal draft. Have you guys remembered what has happened so far? Let's recap.
Have I ever?
Let's
remembered?
recap.
It's
One Cameron Von Lewis has got... Oh, I just bumped the mic there. Sorry, Jared.
It's all right.
One Cameron Von Lewis has 3 goals. Daniel, 1 goal.
Got on the board.
Chris, myself, and Rick, zeros.
I just remembered something.
Go ahead.
It's February, and we all know that February is my month. I've got like 7 games in Feb.
So February, we've got... Let's start at the weekend. We've got Cam coming up tomorrow. If Lucic scores tomorrow, playing with McDavid, I'm going to be pissed. Cam's not even going to be watching the game. He's going to be in New York. Probably like gallivanting, maybe riding the subway, looking at people, trying to take some pictures that he can get posted on Subway Creatures on Instagram. He's not even going to be watching. Last time he was at a fucking movie.
Yeah, this. Oh,
Lucic scores
flip. I'll
again
flip.
when Cam is not even watching or anywhere near a TV. I'm going to spaz out.
He was there for the Buffalo game. He was in attendance for the Buffalo game and was smack talking the hell out of us.
Okay, we'll give him partial marks on that one. However, his 2-goal performance... Or no, that was against Buffalo. Damn it. Damn it.
God damn it, Cam.
Okay, so here's what I think that we do, because he's never going to listen to this podcast.
No.
Let's pretend if he scores tomorrow, that's somebody else's day. We just switch it. Just switch it in the list. He'll never know. All you listeners that are paying attention to this and recapping the Lucic goal draft with us.
Don't narc on us.
You don't tell Cam a damn thing. Snitches get stitches, motherfucker.
It's true.
Remember how we said to not steal and snooze? You can
Just
lie.
That's a good... So...
Listen, if your lie is for the benefit of all of us, then I feel like it's acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay, so if Lucic scores and then Cam will text us and be like, who has Lucic today? We'll just lie to him?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he has the board.
Okay, so who's taking...
Nah,
he doesn't.
He's not looking
No,
at
he's
that.
got the actual board.
Yeah, but he's covered up like the wrong dates and stuff. So we can play this.
I really don't think he's going to take the time out of his New York trip to look up that board.
So the question is, who do we give the game to when Lucic scores?
Well, the obvious choice is Dan.
Why?
Well, it depends. Are we going
gap.
for the win here? Are we closing the gap, or are we getting someone else on the board? Because we still haven't revisited from 2 weeks ago when we talked about pooling all of our games remaining against Cam's 3.
Well, Rick would be useless because he
Rick's out.
spent his whole...
So I have an
load.
opinion on this. I've got like 6 or 7 games banked in February. So I'm not really in a position where I want to pool with you guys.
Wow. You don't want my goal?
You've
Or
got
my assist that I have?
5 of
No,
6 games, 6 of 8 games to close out this month. So February literally is Chris month.
Honestly, I think I'm going to bow out of joining you guys.
Unbelievable.
Ooh.
I can't.
All right, well then he's not getting the bonus goal tomorrow if we steal from Cam either.
Yeah,
No. That's a separate
You're
discussion.
not a member of the Thieves Guild
Then
anymore.
it goes to...
Why don't we just give it to
I
Jared?
feel like it's all for one for all.
Okay, wait, why don't we
We're all in on this together.
Why don't we give tomorrow's game to Evan? Because remember when we were doing this Lucic goal draft and Evan was like, why can't I be in it? And we're like, you're not going to be around. and here we are. Evan's still around.
But we all divided evenly though.
Why?
It's
Okay,
just a pity
I
thing.
think it might be a dead giveaway to Cam if we're like, no, Evan had that one.
Okay.
I don't think that we can pull that much past him.
Okay, idea. What if we just tell him a name, one of us, like Rick, I don't care. We give him a name and then Cam just goes on thinking that they have a point, but in reality we give the point to Cam. But when we're talking about it in front of Cam, we don't actually tell him he got a point until we can like stretch the lie out as far as possible.
Oh, we can stretch this lie out as long as we want, because there's no way Cam's going to listen to this episode.
If the 3 of us are in on this, it doesn't matter. The listeners are on board. I can hear it through the radio already that they're nodding in agreement because they can't stand
If
that
they're
Coom ran away with
the
this
people outside the window.
The crowd
nodding
amassed
right now.
outside
Yeah.
of our window. They are chanting, yes, cheat, cheat, cheat.
if they're even still listening after all that snooze talk.
You think the snus talk bored everybody?
I don't know.
You think our fans aren't fans of snus?
Oh, they're snussing all day.
Come on.
So, Chris, are you backing out now?
Yeah, I'm being selfish and I'm confident in my picks in February. I'm going to surpass Cam. I'm going to surpass Cam.
So when I win this goal draft, because of my one goal that I have right now, I
You're
am
on
going
the
to
board.
make your shirt just mercilessly horrible.
Yeah, it's the risk I'm
Milks
taking.
is going to be really nice because you know what? He was still down to help out.
Yeah, like, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, my friend.
Yeah.
Rick is going to be, I'll do a little bit something for Rick because he did give Lucic as much credit as he could by taking every single game at the start of the draft.
So you're rewarding all these people for sucking.
Because they're a part of the Cheaters Guild.
This is what's wrong. Handing out participation ribbons. And this is what's wrong with society.
Dead air. That's what's wrong with
What's
us.
wrong with society is we're all cheaters. All right, boys, we are running out of time on this episode. What I do want to end off is a couple of questions from Twitter that came in. Sam Akehurst asked, in an alternate universe, what career does Connor McDavid gravitate to if he doesn't play hockey? And would he be as dominant in that career as if he were a hockey player?
I bet you he's a hella good track runner. And I
Long
bet you-
distance
and
running
I
or
bet you
something?
he just destroys, like Canada holds every world record ever, forever, because Connor did it.
Like, I imagine him good at the high jump. Just kind of tall and lanky.
He's got the powerful legs,
Yeah.
driving forward.
You just took my answer and turned it into another track and field sport.
No, I'm going to... Big Milk, what do you think?
Oh, this is easy. Do you know like those kids, you'll see them on YouTube every now and then, they're like 4 years old and they're already concert pianists? Like, you ever see those videos?
Oh, yeah.
That's what Connor would be. He would be like a concert level pianist or something that's very mathematical like that, where you can think the scales through. He's like, I've got these notes. I know these keys. I've got this. Ever since I was 4 years old, I was playing Bach and Beethoven. I didn't take lessons. I just heard the song and then I translated it instantly to the keyboard. I transposed it because I'm talented and I am a outer worldly talent on the piano. So I'd say Connor is a concert pianist, entertaining the world around, playing big concerts because everybody wants to see him.
Alternate universe. I think he owns a hardware store in a small town, and he's just an all around nice guy, good
Just
community guy. Stand up.
He's even willing to come help you with your projects.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what are you doing over there, Jerry? You putting some drywall?
McDavid's Hardware.
Oh, I'd shop at McDavid's Hardware.
So this is the alternate reality career I have for Connor McDavid.
Go ahead.
He starts out young, just really talented at everything, mostly including sports, just a natural athlete kind of guy. So he starts putting his recordings on YouTube, and then he eventually becomes a YouTube star. But this is before
Wait a second.
this is before Dude Perfect kind of took off. So Dude Perfect is also like lifting off, and then they see Connor McDavid's YouTube channel and just how good he is at like just natural athlete kind of things. So they hire him, and Connor McDavid joins the Dude Perfect team. And now Connor McDavid has his own YouTube channel. He's making the same amount of money, probably even more. He's making like $5 million a month.
You don't know how the internet works, do you?
He's making more.
Yeah, I do. Those guys make like $20 million a month off YouTube.
Yes.
$20 million a month.
No.
Like PewDiePie was loaded. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But he was like making like 8 to 12 a year. Not a month.
20 million a
Like
month.
$20 million a month, man. He's a
Man.
fucking
Sorry,
big ball of high roller.
maybe I'm in a year, but still more
Are you
than he's
talking
making
about
now.
Mr. Perfect from WWE from the 80s?
No, Dude Perfect.
What's Dude Perfect?
They're the trick shot guys. You don't know them?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the trick shot guys. So like trick shotting is just something I think of Connor McDavid being good at. 'Cause
Maybe
it's
like unboxing. What about unboxing presents?
Well, that was gonna be my other thing. Is maybe he starts out. Maybe he
How
starts
did you
out.
pull that one, Big Milk? How did you know he was going to go there?
Maybe
I
he
just read a
starts out-
story in the New York Times a little while ago about this 7-year-old kid who unboxes gifts on
Yeah.
YouTube, and he made like $15 million last year.
That's what I was saying.
Crazy.
I think he's the highest paid YouTube star.
One of.
Does
Damn
he make
close.
$14 billion a year? A month?
A
Sorry?
million.
With your math, the Minutemen would be making thousands of dollars an episode.
No, well, we're not that big yet. Anyways, Connor McDavid, YouTube star.
Last question before we end this off. Brandon asks, if you could dump any 3 player salaries that aren't Lucic or Sekera, who would you pick?
Wow.
I'll start. I go Brandon Manning. I'll do Chris Russell, not because I dislike Chris Russell, just because the contract's a little expensive. And we're clearing cap space, Dan. I know you need defensemen, but you also need value defensemen. So I've got those 2. And if I can't pick Lucic, I'm going to have to go with Ryan Spooner. Like, please.
Yeah, those are pretty solid list.
Like, I feel bad saying Chris Russell because I
Yep.
actually don't mind Chris Russell at all. It's just his contract's a little inflated in the cap space.
Who do you chose? Benning, Russell, and
Brandon Manning,
Oh, yeah.
Russell, and what was my other guy? Spooner.
If we're assuming that we're going to get a return on the investments, like are we talking trade?
I'll just clear it out. So let your imagination run with you.
I don't want to lose him as a player, and once again, it kind of speaks to your Chris Russell analogy there, Bag Milk. If I could get Leon Draisaitl's contract down,
Dan going back to his anti-Leon Draisaitl propaganda.
Yes.
Holy dino.
I think that there's that's just a big one. The Brandon Manning one, no brainer, and Ryan Spooner, which we're stuck with both of those for 2 more years, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Chris, thoughts?
I'm going to go with Tobias Reeder.
It's a $2 million.
Yep. I'm going to go with, I love him, but Zach Kassian.
It's about another 2-ish, roughly.
And the Pouliot buyout contract.
Yes.
1.3.
So no more wingers on Chris's team.
Chris doesn't like wingers, nor does he like any of you that listen to this. That's why he wasn't on for the Geroges Laraque interview.
We don't need wingers when you got 3 big centers.
I want to thank all of you for watching or listening, I guess. You can't see this. I want to thank all of you. Jared, who we got playing us out here again?
Ray Gun Cowboys.
Ray Gun Cowboys, thanks for playing us out. Thank you to Get Sauced. Thank you to Sherwood Ford the Giant for making it all possible. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Shout out Damien.
Best wishes.